Secretary of State, what are you hoping to talk about today, sir?
On your way out, Mr. Secretary.
Excuse me.
We're speaking about a small summit that's speaking for 4 years about it. Then Assad suddenly came and said, why not hold the summit? It was really shocking. I said, all right, I agree. Good president doesn't want to do it. Then the point is to bring
I
Iran.
think we're going to get the handshake, guys. Excuse me, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, could we have a handshake for the
Good
press?
morning first.
Good morning, Mr. President. Then we'll get out of your way. Thank you. Okay, that's it. It's a wrap.
What did you say? What did you ask me?
Wired these days.
I am,
She is wired, isn't she?
always.
Just a little.
President, what do you think of the Israeli plan now to build new highways and bridges into the occupied territories of West Bank and Golan Heights, consolidating their control?
The president just walked in the door, and we're going to start talking. I think that I'd rather wait to answer those questions until the press conference. We're going to have a press conference after lunch, and I'll be glad to answer the
What do
questions.
you think of the welfare reform bill that's coming out of conference? Is it something that you can sign, Mr. President?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the conference yet.
Well,
They're working on the conference now, and I'm going to wait and see what happens, what comes out.
thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you very much.
I think you're going to sign it because you've used all the language of the opponents. Failed system, broken system.
Now, the difference is, though, we've actually done something about it. Keep in mind that 75% of the people in the country on welfare today are under welfare to work experiments. There are 1.3 million fewer people on welfare today than there were the day I took office. Child support's up 40%. There are a lot of things in the bill I'd like to sign. I like the child care money. I like the increased child support enforcement. I like the fact that we get out of the waiver business on a state-by-state basis. But I don't want to see harm come to the children of this country.
Sealing off every time and every now and then. Let us understand.
Well, let me say, first of all, he reaffirmed to me when he was here, and he's met with President Mubارk as well, that he would honor the Oslo Accords in every way. So I think we have to give him a chance to do that and work on that assumption. I believe that I think that the government is bound to honor commitments that it has made, and I believe that it will, and I certainly believe it should. And so we'll just have to we'll see. But we're going to discuss that today, and again we'll be able to answer more questions at the press conference after we have our meeting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Please stand.
The President and I agreed on the need for continued progress on the Palestinian track, as we both had discussed in our recent and quite productive meetings with Prime Minister Netanyahu. And we share a determination to help find a path to peace between Israel, Syria, and Lebanon. But we know, too, that we have to fight terrorism on three fronts. First, through closer cooperation with our friends and allies abroad. Second, here at home, by giving law enforcement the tools they need, the most powerful counterterrorism tools available. And third, in our airports and on our airplanes, by increasing security. This will be a long, hard struggle.
We sympathize with the suffering of the American people as a result of terroristic actions. We extend our heartfelt condolences to the aggrieved families of the victims and to all Americans. Activities which are inconsistent with the requirements and spirit of peace, such as settlement activities and the confiscation of lands, should be terminated. What is needed now is to continue the strict implementation of the signed agreement. We know that the question of Jerusalem is a sensitive and a complicated one that does not lend itself to simple solutions. It is charged with emotions for all the parties. However, it is not impossible in our view to work out an imaginative solution that would be acceptable to all sides in the course of the negotiations. I have contact with President Clinton. He assured me that he is going to implement all the agreement, all the commitments which was being signed by the state of Israel with the Palestinians. And although there are not yet enough time for that, but I hope that he could continue implementing this agreement, because it's very important at least to give the people a good signal that Israel respects it and honors its commitment.
My answer to you, sir, would be that if the meetings that President Mubarack and I had with Prime Minister Netanyahu are an indication, then I am optimistic, because if Israel is able to keep the commitments that it has already made, I think that will form the basis of going forward. And I do believe that they have some idea. They have a different approach to going forward, but I think they want to go forward. I think that there is a broad understanding in Israel that this is a process that can't simply be stopped or reversed. You have to go forward with it, and I believe that that's what they would do. Yes,
Clinton has very good experience in that sense anyway. But I could tell you very frankly,
I don't know whether there are new roads, expansions of existing roads, nor do we know for sure that the government of Israel has adopted that policy. We know that the report is that a member of the government has proposed that. So until the government of Israel adopts that as policy, I don't want to blame them for something they haven't done yet. We are concerned about anything that could affect the peace process adversely. And we expect and believe that Israel will adhere to the agreements it has already made, including the Oslo Accords, agreements that were signed here, commitments made by the Israeli government before it. So we'll have to see what happens.
only I could tell you very frankly, I don't know exactly where this wall is going to be built, but I hope it shouldn't be built in the land where the Palestinians are making argument in it, otherwise it's going to complicate the whole process. This is my fear. We would like to maintain stability. We don't like to make new things in the occupied territory unless it's agreed upon between the two parties, so as to help the process to move forward.